A lot of video games have worlds that are just an afterthought. A lot of them have characters that are just there to spout out some dialogue. They have environments that are just there to be scenery and nothing more. But not all of them. Some of them go in the opposite direction. And these are the top 7 best world simulator games. Or best simulated worlds in games. Or best games with worlds that are actually more in-depth than your usual level where you just have 2 NPCs standing around day or night. They don't even react to you walking around dressed as a cabbage. I know that's a very specific thing, but trust me, if you walked around dressed as a cabbage in the real world, some people may actually take notice and wonder, hey, are you by any chance insane? The caveat here is that these have to be games, so Universe Sandbox, not so much a game, though it is a simulator. Elite Dangerous, even though it does simulate the whole galaxy, it doesn't really do anything with it. Though I will give a special mention to the X series, the first 4 or 5 of them, before X Rebirth that is, which to a certain point I can consider as having simulated worlds, but these other games kind of upstage it a bit. That being said, let's get it started with number 7, The Last Express. Now when I say simulated world, I don't mean having a galaxy, a planet, a country, no. It can just be something small, something intimate, like a train. One that is filled with characters living out their lives, playing out their own story, and you are there to interact with them. They're not there to interact with you, no, it's the other way around. In The Last Express, no matter what you do, these characters will continue on without you. They will live on without you. They will do what they want to do, but they will react to you. They will take notice of you, and your actions can indeed change the outcome of the story. It can change the way that they act, what they do, and it all happens in real time. It can rewind to any point you wish just to see how the story would unfold otherwise, or because you got killed, or you fell off a train. There are many possibilities in this magnificent game designed by Jordan Mechner, the guy that made Prince of Persia. Number 6, Minecraft. Even though Minecraft falls a bit short when it comes to the simulated characters bit, in the sense that it doesn't really have characters, it has NPCs that don't really do much, but it is a simulated world in every other sense. I mean, you can do anything with it because it's a sandbox, and it's a sandbox that works according to some rules that you have to respect and that everything else in the world does respect. You plant a seed, you see something grow, you can then take that thing that you grew and make something else out of it. You can craft something into something else. It's an ecosystem, one that works. It works slowly and in very, very cubical ways, but it functions well enough as an analog for reality that you can even build CPUs in it. Man, remember when building a CPU in Minecraft was a new and amazing thing? If you're part of the main audience of Minecraft, you probably don't, because that was something that happened before you were born. Number 5, Arcanum. Yes, I'm still gonna call it Arcanum. It sounds better, objectively better. For me, Arcanum will always be that game which let you do stuff that few others could. There is a very good old test to determine exactly how much freedom do you have in a video game, how much the world of a video game is actually being simulated, and that is the number of options you have of getting through a locked door. You can picklock it, ram it, blow it up. In the case of fences, some classics like Wasteland even let you climb over the fence. But you know what most games didn't let you do? Climb in through the window. Yeah, windows. This game is so goddamn detailed that it lets you go through windows. NPCs go through windows. Werewolves go through windows. And it does a beautiful job with making everything else in this world completely believable. You rarely get torn out of it. When the combat starts, things kind of go nuts. but every detail of this world, of its characters, of its setting, of its explanations of why things are the way they are superb and they function well together. You have reactive NPCs, you have reactive environments up to the point where the engine could actually do, which was basically letting you blow up some stuff, but not entire buildings. It had everything it could need, apart maybe from the ability to make your own food, which would have added that little extra layer of realism. Number 4, Ultima 7. Since the fourth one, the Ultima games have been profoundly focused on world simulation. They put a lot of effort into making sure that these worlds are worlds. They're not levels, they're not random maps. They are worlds filled with characters that actually have something to do. They have jobs to go to. They come back from those jobs. They eat lunch. They eat supper. They go to sleep. They will throw you out on your ass if you try to go into their home and then just rob them blind, which is something you can't really say about The Witcher 3. Though, to be fair, if a 100-year-old Witcher that spends his time killing monsters the size of houses decides to rummage through my stuff, I'd probably not take offense to it. But apart from the characters and the interaction with them, the reactions they had, what really set Ultima 7 apart is that you could pick up everything, absolutely everything, and that most things in this world had interactions. You could blow out a candle, you could light a candle, you could get honey from a beehive, you could bake stuff, you could make bread, you could make pies. You had so much interaction with the world that it just made you wonder, why don't more games try and do stuff like this? Well, there are some explanations. It takes time, it's costly, it's hard to do in 3D, and some games actually do try to do it still today, like Divinity Original Sin, which sadly lacked the daytime-nighttime cycle, so the characters weren't all that reactive, and sadly didn't feel so alive. But there's hope for that sequel, which I still haven't installed. Number 3, Ultima Underworld. Now you may say, what do you have two Ultimas in here? They're the same thing, aren't they? Well, no, they're not. Ultima Underworld was not initially made as an Ultima game. It was made as just Underworld, but because it sort of fit the core ideas of the Ultima series, it was made into Ultima Underworld. And what was the core idea? Well, it was the idea of building worlds. It was Origin's thing back then before it became, at least we're better than you play. Ultima Underworld is a dungeon simulator. It is a game where you are trapped underground in a dungeon that is not just there to be crawled through. You explore it, yes, you do sometimes kill stuff in it, but for the most part, well, not most part, but a lot of part, you interact with it. You talk to characters that live there, and you see how they have shaped the ecology around them. You see the relations they form with the other factions on each and every level. You see goblins fighting goblins because of old hatreds. You see humans fighting, well, basically everyone. You see trolls, you see ogres, all of them living together side by side, and I get the two confused quite often, so I'm not sure which one of them actually was there. And you see the occasional creature that's not trying to kill you. You see a rat who is just upset, but hey, he has that cheese he's been waiting to eat all day. If you touch it, he'll go for your throat. If you don't, he'll just go ratting about. Giant ratting about. Giant murderous, if you touch the cheese, ratting about. And it's a kind of simulation that puts you right into that world in first person. It's the blueprint for so many other games that had the same world simulation idea to them, like Thief, System Shock, and Deus Ex. Sure, these are games that may cheat quite often to get the desired effect, but it still works. Number 2, Gothic. If you want to talk simulated worlds in video games, there's Gothic and then there's the rest. In third-person simulated RPGs at least. Gothic is a golden standard for a world that is completely simulated. Every bit of it behaves like an actual world. The people, even though their actions don't really do something, like you keep seeing someone hammering away at their hut, seemingly trying to fix them, but they'll never finish fixing it. Yeah, even though it's just a trick like that, it works. It is believable. And the best part of it is that this game has rules which everybody has to follow. It has laws that must be respected by everyone, unless you find a way to bug the crap out of stuff like that, and then you can just go hostile, try to kill everybody, go into an area that you're not supposed to, get killed, but then come back to life because you cast a lightning bolt a while ago and it finally killed someone enough to level you up, and now you're back alive and everybody forgot that you were the most hated person in the colony just a few moments ago. Yeah, it's a complicated thing, but it's fun. And probably the best part, and I mean the absolute best part of this game, is that the idea of simulation does not extend to only the humans. No, it extends to every monster in this game. Well, most monsters, not the orcs, not their dogs, but most creatures in this game. They're not there to be killed. They're not there to be your bounty, your farming for XP area. They are there because they live there. So when you go into their territory, they'll not attack you. They'll scream, they'll make noises, they'll do a display of force, they'll show off, try to dissuade you from approaching, they'll seem aggressive. And only if you continue will they become hostile and attack. Because that's what creatures in general, animals, do. They're not out there to kill you. Even bears, which some people would say are godless killing machines, they won't outright murderize you in an instant. No, they'll try to dissuade you first by saying, hey you, take one more step and I'm gonna be wearing your guts as a scarf. Granted, they're not so eloquent, but you get the idea. And it wasn't just the first Gothic that did this. They all did. I believe they all did. Didn't play the fourth one, and I don't really remember much of the third one. And Risen also did this. The first one. The second one really doesn't warrant being remembered. Never really did play the third one, mostly because the second one was not that good. And the number one world simulator game is Dwarf Fortress. I really don't know what to say here. It's Dwarf Fortress. There is a chance that by the time they actually finish developing this in the year 2050, it will simulate the entire world as well as its own development inside of it, and we will exist in a parallel reality to our own within the game, living an infinite eternities within the game. Dwarf Fortress simulates everything. It's got everything. It's got morale, it's got wants, needs, a bajillion type of doors, you can make computers in it, you can do anything. It's insane. And it looks like it was made in the year 1976, which is the reason a lot of people are put off by it. Also the fact that it is a bit hard to get into, a bit hard indeed to get into. But there are some mods which fix the graphics, and there's plenty of help on the web if you want to actually get into it. Or you could just try one of the plethora of spiritual successors to a game that's still in development, like RimWorld, which is also still in development, but people have told me good things about it. Hopefully I'll get to it someday. Well, this was the top 7 games with simulated worlds. As already stated, a few special mentions go to the X series by Egosoft, a bit of Divinity Original Sin, some RimWorld, some Deus Ex and the likes, and of course to Second Life, which although doesn't have reactive NPCs, there are a lot of players there, and apparently a lot of dead rabbits recently for bizarre reasons. Goodbye.